when are they going to be operational?
The second bit is about the chief's compound. Now, it is not my policy. I spoke about it, announced it.
You want to say, oh, yeah, Papa, go any monte. Oh, yeah, Papa, go any monte. They say they would Ghanaian free policy. No, it is not my policy. Felix, what the two just said, chips compound, Mubesibi. Now, Mubesi 2 per every a year district assembly. And Wabani Busau say, chips compound be a new per district assembly. No, I yet day a wahe accountability a wahe. Yentie Felix, Yentie no.
But it is government policy.
June last year, too, you indicated that government was going to construct at about 600 chip compounds. And I ask you directly because you made the comment or you made a promise. I want to find out from you if these 600 chip compounds you said were going to be constructed. Enough to mention that the previous government had about over 300 staff at the presidency. The previous government had about a.
Now, fellas, so for Sukwachi, chips compound and ewahe. Oh, now, fellas, say rebrofo. And so when we say chips compound simply means ABC. Fellas, and yet chips compound simply means asem and yeka. Ye busa say. Chips compound ewahe. Oh, when we say chips compound, no didn't nam, no watre, no when Timianka say chips compound, ye wie baku si. Fellows of Ozuka Timianko. Na me baba catchere mo say abani ye kionet abani. Now yentie Felix, and I know me the two just say abani appointed presidential staffers. Omuwo at the same rank as deputy ministers. It ye bo moka as though omuye deputy ministers. Say I'm a crowd minyane wrong. Now, fellows of Ozuko Baba responded to me yenti.
And somebody say that presidential staffers acted as deputy ministers. No, they are not. In terms of entitlements, they are equivalent to ministers, presidential staffers. So when you hear somebody referred to as a presidential staffer, in terms of entitlements, they don't function as ministers, but in terms of what they earn and their package that goes with their office, they are equivalent to ministers. Presidential aides are equivalent to deputy ministers in terms of their service conditions. And then there are political staff who are staff of these staffers and presidential. For example, if you go to the president's office, there's the president himself, there is the chief of staff, there's a secretary to the president, there's a legal counsel, and then there are other senior advisors. These advisors don't work alone. They also have staff that they work with. So if you put all of that together, there was a point that we had about 361 under President Akufo-Addo. I think about 41 staffers or so, who by virtue of that position would be entitled to the conditions of service of ministers.
Mom pay attention, say, Edu Akufo-Addo, the answer there. Or both figures are Akufo-Addo, apart from the ministers, 120 ministers, you know, or both figures of a presidential staffers. Now, lady way, I don't know who she is. I think the lady must be I see a bullet in Abaso. Or Mama Kwe Bibrina Musenya answer question bia. Now, Felix, Yenti.
And deputy minister. So the 125 land cruisers would come with another 40 land cruisers and 40 saloon cars, 40 bungalows, or 40 sets of payments of rent allowance, 40 sets of payment of fuel for every week, and then all the other conditions that they are attached. So you do not really need a soothsayer to tell you how colossal the cost to government was to have that number of people. The fact and reality now is that we have fewer people in government now than we did under the previous administration. So significant savings have been made. That cannot be disputed. That must be placed on record.
Fewer people in government now than a Akufo-Addo. It should be easy to answer the question of how many presidential staffers anamuwo ananyasa. Yentie lady no yenti.
100 staff at the presidency. You were bold enough to mention that the previous government had about over 300 staff at the presidency. I want to know concrete figures. How many staff do we have here?
I can tell you for free
at the presidency
that the numbers here are far less.
You were bold enough to mention that the previous government had about over 300 staff at the presidency. I want to know concrete figures. How many staff do we have here?
I can tell you for free
at the presidency
that the numbers here are far less. Indeed, we are required by law this quarter, I think by March or so, to present the list to Parliament. So you will see. I think that the numbers are being compounded, but I know for a fact that it is far less than what we inherited from the previous administration. Now, when it goes, you will see it. Yes.
Now,
thank you very much.
Okay, or say a far less. How many presidential staffers and a whole government spokesperson cannot tell us how many presidential staffers after 1 year in government? Otiminya Akufo-Addo de kai. But the year 1 year in government, a whole government spokesperson cannot tell the people of Ghana the number of people working at the presidency. How many presidential staffers do we have? Now, Osi Akufo-Addo 120 ministers plus 300 presidential staffers. Meanwhile, in 2024, government compensations was about 63.6 billion. Tienye. And ye di ye ewo presidency. Sa time na Akufo-Addo die no ewo soro. In 2025, aban na wose ne die no wo fom no. Sa aban koro no in 2025, a raise call 76.6 billion. Tienye. Aban no. A ono felisofo kwa chinya 72 million de tena ba bi oteno so wo de ye government communication. Eti Akufo-Addo aban ne so. Ye ho bi da. A large in 2024 or the 63.6 billion. John Mahama abaya sha lean government ministers near 60. Now 76.6 billion ye allocated core presidency so munkonkodi. In 2026, government has allocated 90.7 billion here de kwa koma abaya na usano. Abaya show Jenye. Abaya also was saving. The question I was answer savings no de mayen e wo he. But when the entire ontimi enka enchira the number of presidential staffers because makacham say abaya no eye frakadam eye kionet abaya. Mon hade. Abaya we e release. Makacham say omo sheda appointee eye ministers, especially regional ministers. Aba kwada ne TikTok minister. Now, I'm appointed regional ministers. We know. And I'm person more appointed deputy regional ministers. But when it's deputy regional ministers, you bet kayaka a ministers who. It yam from a deputy regional ministers. Nemo you bet from a regional coordinators. TNA. You bet from regional a political coordinators. Now, regional political coordinators. Yansha Diebuaha. Mohadi, pay attention. Mohadi Bua. Now, omo release our list we. Pay attention. List we Anthony Nupenu, Miami, or your regional political coordinator to the regional minister for Greater Accra region. TNU. Now, surprisingly, omo our list we you know. Omo the Ashanti region thereby mienu. But among Ashanti region, the enemy and share at the same place. As I read here, Ube Unu in terms say, or more a frakadam. So at the end of the Acheremono, Monsha a last end ho. Ubonso or matchro, okay. You read it top no. Isham Alasan. Sorry, let me come back. So, we Isham Alasan. Second row, or your regional political coordinator to the regional minister for Ashanti region. Tienye. Now, we Isham Freewa. The next person, yanko the next list so. Yenyi the next list, never went so. Now, next list in a share asiho. Also, omudi nimi enu nyina ko boss at the same time, and ka wo read here. Ube wunu say Ashanti region kwa ya appointed. Now, Pfizer Dauda, also a deputy regional political coordinator to the regional minister for Ashanti region. Now them dia aban we eya kill net. No mo ya atro nipa bonefo aban ti no. When him say actually omo appointed miensa. Menya ntia kura said no omo sa appointed ba kwa kan wo. Na omo appointed miensa no omo anfo omo nyina din ama. Eti the omo di kan di ni din ba ye eye second rule. Second rule no tienie the omo di kan di ni din ba. Now Oma omitted the name of this individual who is my brother. Oma omitted the name of this individual. Oma Anfani Diama. In 2025, August 19th, Anna Dr. Frank Amwako, a TikTok minister, Ebeka Chira Yese, Mr. Sylvester Japan, our first no you movie, I don't want our friend slide. Miami pa, Nyanche, Menino Dako, Eten and Kanache, then times miracle films, Menino and Nebo. Sylvester Asar, I can't say, Sylvester Japan. Yeah, appointed as deputy political coordinator for Ashanti region. And so I'm releasing a list no. Omo amfa Sylvester Asare di anship. When we dey omo di leadership omo be hu say eya coordinators ni di dos. That is the kind of entro governance I dey mamo. Na mujidi. That is the kind of hypocritical governance being given to you and you believe them. Omo appointed a Sly as deputy regional political coordinator. Our muji pay equally as deputy ministers and ministers. Now omo amfa onidi and share list because omo di ni share list ni mo be hunu. Eti jomama aban no atro aban. No kura ba akokura nim. But when I keep on telling you guys are not listening. Other than the sliding, they've omitted it from the list of coordinators. I don't know why I'm omitting. Ashanti Regional Minister, August, and Ashanti Regional Minister Becca say, I appointed Sly as Deputy Regional Political Coordinator. Meanwhile, you have any can't list because you need one. After you want to say regional coordinators, no 4. And you believe such a government. Because our government is no president you believe such a government because our government no president is Kambu red gold green. You believe such a government because that government ni hey okwa asori na okwa tenachiri hey we humble be so otemo adwene ase. John Mahama temo adwene ase. When him said the theatrics ni amodeche amemu. When him said theatrics no amodeche amemu. Na omanya yetimi di obi ne yire no mienu asem yetimi bo paako omo ye nipa to a saa nipa yi eti frakadama ban no killnet ban no wonim dia mo etimi esu emu eti na da bia na John de oye humble John de Let God say wa appointed yan sorry free way be ka muntie na money kwakuko so se wani trikoto say ayi anyway yamfa ento so ne yanko US aban but entia menya say actually there were regional coordinators political coordinators there tienie Etina, there were regional political coordinators mienu already. And once I appointed 3 akoka onu wonu so de kire mo. Oh. Ajay, kionet aban no mu hunu da frakadam aban. Bibie mo ni nso emie. Nanka Felix, wadaroma presidential staffers near say yes and
I have to mention that the previous government had about over 300 staff at the presidency. I want to know concrete figures. How many staff do we have here?
I can tell you for free
at the
that the numbers here are far less. Indeed, we are required by law this quarter, I think by March or so, to present the list to Parliament. So you will see. I think that the numbers are being compiled, but I know for a fact that it is far less than what we inherited from the previous administration. Now, when it goes, you see it. Yes. Thank you very much.
Felix, numbers are not a yes saying.
You were bold enough to mention that the previous government had about over 300 staff at the presidency. I want to know concrete figures. How many staff do we have here?
I can tell you for free
at the
that the numbers here are far less. Indeed, we are required by law this quarter, I think by March or so, to present the list to Parliament. So you will see. I think that the numbers are being compounded, but I know for a fact that it is far less than what we inherited from the previous administration. Now, when it goes, you will see it. Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Felix is so on to me the number of presidential staffers and Machira Mudientia. Kwame, Kwamwachi Yadom. Oh, Papa, you offer material seno. Yes, me blow me a trumpet. I am one of the most intelligent people that will ever walk the face of this country called Earth. Na mene manfo ne dilia mete manfo no adwenase eti mitimi yusu manfo no momo ankasa timi ye bibi no munim se mi yusu o ma momo ayade so enra ana beto odwa se Trump administration no ade ban ato immigrant visas so 75 countries including Ghana and Nigeria. And of course, me de two Facebook. Me anam churoi. Nyame obi anam churoi. Na me de two away na me sa editor na me de shame say World Cup no washi. So in effect, in their quest to say they want to get at me, which I knew that's what they would do, they ended up propagating wamwangasa ban na yedi ato o maban so no. They ended up propagating my ban ne kwachire ma manfo teaching say me angasa me to me page. Mo adwene no yenketen. Na nipa maba United States nyata mtegano. Maba be share immigration law this semester. Ma pass enya A- in immigration law. Professor Lulu Ferrante class. Ma pass enya A1. Minim what immigrant and non-immigrant visas are. Me de source World Cup no ahye na me yeso mu dimirika omo se yenya no ni amoa na omo ye no na afi omo angasa e magana fo otese ya bande womo angasa in their quest to so mbenya they will come at me no they ended up promoting say ya bande womo angasa mo adwene ye nkete edam nsa me didi agoro Me too, minim what family-based immigrant visas are. And a minim non-immigrant visas. Na me ba me tena kodu oso me de ayi body ha ban ne ba ayi America ho. Eti ya bani wo mo. Was suspended. Okay, brofo bia abese na okuja to ablakwa ana wo mo ye na domain market for man say. Yeti ye ba bi Donald Trump meka yen. De hu ya ni so okuja to ablakwa. Donald Trump akọ Venezuela. Okọ Venezuela wakọ pamu eye Maduro. Maduro. The way as okuja to akọ release letter. Okuja to na asem afa wo ho ben. Because the timing, foreign minister, a free Kwame Nkrumah penso. Your foreign policy are very the same. We neither face left, we neither face right. We face forward. Kwame Nkrumah foreign policy. We don't belong to the east, we don't belong to the west. We face forward. Who be do America? America for say they do not have permanent friends, they have permanent interest. Etikamino kasei. America for Venezuela for your madia. And then yes, mumu ya tilted towards the easter. And kefa wu okuja to ablakwa mubei. Professor Mills di money wants to do fiasem. Afe no okuja to ha train wa tworo mirror of justice nsem hunu. Nsem hunu no atworo. Na do mi make for man say okuja to nkofa asem mreye. Kofa mreye. Afe the simple thing is that America force ya bane There has been instances America for suspended a year visas our man for Ghana and Kahun. Anna and yet Ghana and 75 countries, countries who are young for man Kahun, more African continent, so young for man Kahun. And nobody should come and tell me, say, Okuja trust him, no, he has nothing to do with a year visa. It is a Minoka say. Immigrant visas, any actually say family based visas. It is a Ukunu, and now we hear it, America, not Ghana. No also file amount. Sabra, Chenye. Nebra better than Chenya. And they Minoka say, Sa and Yajuma. And they wouldn't have a suspended. And then say, who win the American lottery? Sa American lottery, no. Who win here? And they wouldn't me and Konko Nyabesa if she are suspended. And Yaman America. And they could just say, Muno could and yes, suspended. Yes, suspended more. And they, because of a year suspension, went say, green card, who apply for green card, Ghana. Visa be based on green card, say, Ukunu and now, we and now, Umpana now, Bibi, at America, no file amount. Unya, Opa Palma, Mewa, Unya. Did they make a ye? And then you suspend him, Miss Unya. Uma, Ubetimia Mabuafu, Ubetimia Enkosi. Unya. Countries in Ibu or why suspend one more. It nobody should come and tell us, and if I he, Nekosi he, ne ye say, and I any investigate to mo. Your countries are investigate, ye investigate to mo. Get out. Now, Yanyan sorry so. Here at Abino, you know my we are. Moment said my win free. Me was a maybe a chair more now, me ba USA half of Frono. Will be better than the show so. Bama, Bomidi, come to America, Bomidi from picture to and the Bomidi you near here. The person was just not relevant. But because he decided, said, we will no longer tell the people the kind of foolishness our you need to know. When you leeway be or the dim kwasia some of them I will let it slide because man for no angasa adwene. But what we would not allow, and it's such a character, a day and penny for mabo bracha and nissing, and in the bush you have phone yina. Edi betwitwi ne nkwasi asem a wo yenim. Now me wo ho ne sending me video bi efa amatela ho bola bed no say o ka ensem a enye no kore oye toro na oye toro no manfo na adwene mo ha nti wo twa mo toro kora na and my brother me chire mo ache manfo no. Also, Stephen Tim, ya poison. Near poison Stephen Tim last year. The evidence in the way you should have evidence. The evidence in the way here was a letter Stephen Tim family at Chorobaye. Now, Obeka letter no more. Okay, I would have allowed because still are dunderheads, airheads are the ones who follow this motherfucker. Forgive me, I mean. So why do you need to partner with Yakwa when Osha said, what do I need Diagura? As Otimu said, I know Kofa President Kufuor di Ebeshim. Even some President Kufuor Ankasa, knowing the man I knew that the guy was just being a fool. Well, Jimmy, but I'm not me far phone, I'm afraid President Kufuor Nambuza said, no, what to say? You didn't come out here, baby, and Nambuza said, there is a video going also where now, I have his permission to state on record. Muntie video no muntie.
Tell Stephen Tim the reason why Stephen Tim issue no enkoye. Do you know say Mena Woka Sunday a J.A. Kufuor ya papa Kufuor nkwana stopping the family of Stephen Tim from coming out? Do you know why?
Muntie. Let me state on record. Bese me President Kufuor kasa ene anopa. So I have his permission. Sa jimisem we ya kwase yi ka no President Kufuor ni mu hwe. Yenie. Jimisem ya akwa na ka no President Kufuor edin ni mu ba bia oni mu hwe. Ora Stephen Ntim yam poison ni ba bia. Stephen Ntim yare because wanyini ana ehon sensem ni ade mema yare ni bia che no. Yam poisons Chairman Ntim ba bia. But obetwa tro a eso kofa mpanidi betwitwim. Jimmy Fossey yentie.
The NPP as a political party, they poisoned Stephen Ntim. See, Yababa Kufuor is the only person intervening.
Obwa.
The family of Stephen Ntim, they want to.
Obwa, President Kufuor nim ni Jimmy Wohe. President Kufuor nim Jimmy Wohe.
Come out publicly and have a press conference and let the world know, say, Stephen Ntim was poisoned at one of the events our MPP organized here. J.A. Kufuor is the one standing between this action by the family and the Esiro. Now, say J.A. Kufuor and Stephen Ntim family about out at a press conference. I'm a Ghana for you.
Stephen Ntim family in Kohun President Kufuor baby, President Kufuor nim ho she. Mr. Stephen Ntim yam poison. Stephen Ntim yare no correct. No yare or yare any mema yare. No poison anywhere. Chairman Ntim yare before he means here 2020 a year election. Yam poison baby. Now, Bola Bedi eba bechiremu dientia ya poison one for evidence fufuro bi amo. O say letter Stephen Ntim family edibe to dwan wo be kan letter no. But it baffles my mind how somebody could read such a letter and put that kind of interpretation on it, and the people believe such buffoonery, such foolishness. I don't get it. After yenti and letter corona or babeka yenti.
Say Stephen Ntim was poisoned. That is the reason why Stephen Ntim resigning as the head of the NPP, as the national chairman. The party wrote that long statement. They were sending a message to the party, say, you people, you have poisoned our son. Sorry, you have poisoned your this year. So I'll go back now, kind letter now, family ni release here now. They were saying something to the party. J.A. Kufuor and I stop it, Stephen Ntim family from coming out. And say me boy, moi we interview president no Chamko Busa Kufuor. Me papa, can we come in?
Osi Yanko Busa President Kufuor me say, and then on all the gods in Ghana that I believe in, any de mu nyina mugidi, ensu atwe enwa hia nyina me se anopai. Me de President Kufuor adi nkomo. President Kufuor si Jimmy Semwe wonim ho hwe. Wonim ho hwe. Plain stupidity. Wajimi, we ya no hwe akola wajimi dia. We ya no hwe ya wajimi. Wonim ho hwe. Na enti ni ya poison no a oberedi letter ni enti.
I know, say I know, but I have to say it because party no omudin kwase asem do. The NPP poisons.
Yanko read the letter corona or beka yenti. Kwanim ni read the letter corona. Okay, so letter now or say
you poison Stephen Ntim.
You read the letter.
Stephen Ntim Abusa for releasing letter no. In fact, let me minimize it and read the caption that was shown. Mokai, Ntim family. Letter nini. Mokai sa letter we. Data omutre na 16th of June 2025. And I'm releasing sa letter we.
Na atade be nkola pajamas bi e hye no a wode to a wodi o twatro e kire mpani. Jimmy bola bed. Hwe nkola pajamas bi e hye no a wode twatro e to mpanimfo so.
Yeah. Now, Shade, Mama ready baby, I am marking ready. Thank you very much, team, for bringing this in.
Team Biani baby, team Bia one didn't say.
As some night we should have wanted to show letter him. These are fucking dangerous people. Now, see, although not official, it is well known that Mr. Ntim is not well at the moment, and his condition requires time off from active professional activities in the interest of medical attention and monitoring for the time being. Almost say, Munina Munim. As some of us want to let them say, Minims Yanim Samunina Munim say, I just Stephen Tim the home fano. The party knew from the past that says Stephen Tim are poison.
Okay, so how do you read a letter which states that although it is not official, but it is well known that Chairman Stephen Tim is not feeling well, and you put a meaning to it that you say, oh, yenyam fan to gase Chairman Tim eyare name me sure say nipa bebre no anim say Chairman Tim yare, and a character like this could sit down and deceive the following, say that presupposes that Stephen Tim has been poisoned. How does that statement in a letter presupposes being poisoned? Such a daft character, such a crazy ass character. A letter, Stephen Tim, although it is not public knowledge, but it is well known that Chairman Stephen Tim is not feeling well. And to his understanding, that statement now, what kind of human being is this? What human being is this? What Jimmy Quenti brofo kakra ontiasie? Esenti, yanto aswenti.
And I can say, Sesia no munyina munim no. Jarena abeton so ye nyina nim se ebe hia se ebe ne kakra. Na ya so ne yare na no. Because munyina munim de okom ebusuafo ne letter nie. Where 2025 me they all come back. Now I'm sure why the MPP is a foolish political party.
The evidence in your letter you. Yes, what did Odinkrata Benina and the evidence in the letter in ye.
Now, my mention Stephen Tim, the reason why Stephen Tim issue no enquire. Time off from active professional activities in the interest of medical attention and monitoring for the time being. Almost say, Munina Munim. As some of us have wanted to let them say, Minims Yanim Samunina Munim say, I just Stephen Tim the home fano. The party knew from the past that says Stephen Tim are poison. And I can say, Sesia no Munina Munim no. Jarena abeton so ye nyina nim say ebe hia say ebe ne kakra.
So why in the letter?
Na ya so ne yare na no. Because munina munim de ok.
Hey, Bolabed. Where in the letter is it stated that Stephen Tim was poisoned? You read a letter, the words are very clear, unambiguous. The words in the letter does not need any explanation. But you, in your daft mind, tends to put another interpretation on the letter to now say that Stephen Tim abusuafo say you're poison, and you get the likes of Ayemani Kweku Komsemo, Eje Kwasia Sedi. How do people who reason believe in this guy? How? I get baffled. How people actually believe such a fool? I don't get it. What your true letter? The words are clear. Stephen Tim Yari, although Yenyanya in the public, but Munyina Munim said Chairman Tim Yari, it's Chairman Tim Yari no. Obey take time off, and it is only normal. It is only humane. It says Obi Yaria. Sabia him for cry. Yes, Yeshua Yaria. It is Obi Yaria. Obey take some time off. How then do you put an interpretation on a letter that says that Stephen Tim Yari or Kosana Yari, it will be taking some time off to say that poison Stephen Tim, and he gets people to follow such a character? If only these people knew what this fool has been doing.
Where 2025, may they all come back. Now I'm sure why the MPP is a foolish political party.
This the poison Stephen Tim na President Kufoni Mubino. The evidence in India new. When Yenipa Moma Jinedi. And when you're about President Kufoni, I won't care because MPP now are serious. And you're about President Kufoni, I probably wouldn't have even responded. But more mutien munyo suma agwene kakrai. mo amutie no eti mo nyusu adwene no kakra obi akan letter no eye na watimi adaada mo say letter we kire say ya poison will be and what do you do with that question adwene ben na mutiri mo adwene ben na mutiri mo. Okay, so Issa said, Okatakyie, where is your evidence in exposing KT because you have not recorded your conversation with President Kufuor? Okay, so let's even assume I did not even speak to President Kufuor. Let's for a second pretend that I have not even spoken to him. I am asking you, Umar, I'm asking you, and this will be here at the no kind salad which what dreaming a year you must say. He most of you. Timi nyusu adwene but you see enye me yasa and I know miracle films can asem bi kire me and sa asem na be the guiding principle amede na mu yase o say ya na ye wa adwene se de utimi dwene easily no sa na obia timi dwene bo wa na adwene ne efiri ha ekosi wo yi na asi ti ye nya omo ho abotre. I'm not surprised that we get the likes of Kwaku Combs and Umar, and they believe such foolishness from a guy. What kind of letter no in him or see a poison? But you see, said the Basin tell us shas, you know, and a Basin tell you a philosopher. We enche or be a philosopher, what? Enche oba be philosopher said obi gwa na num na obi a kan asem bia na de obi a go bia ni wa kan asem mo problem bia to no bia meti ahwi ni problem bia ni bia de mo no medisi no PK Sapon wone eye utim ema eye ma me akosua sewa Adey. And I ask Adey because say that lumba ewu ko ne krechi na upese upraise mami akosua sewa must you do it at the expense of lumba no na brabo obebo ya na Adey obie ni wa oye die-hard Lumba fan papa only buo Emma Akosua Sewa even if we did not know her in person. And let me state that mene mami Akosua Sewa akasa oba bedru Ghana mene mami Akosua Sewa na papa shi nyina akasa eti I don't support any of the two camps and eyamo den se mo bedi atum se whether Odobroni ne campo whether Akosua Sewa I don't support any of the two. But Mami Akosua said, "Well, mo campo na ase mo yama, enema ni be a time." Enra PK Sapon me nua be ka say, "Ana enya Akosua say wa akada Lumba go nya hit." When you do that, you are disrespecting the hard work of the man. Ana ju de suomu wo tina se atworo nwa ya asam geto. Semeti na na jude suo meba na masoka ne na mesua de na ochina meyire ti babia okay wo boa under no circumstance will anybody dispute the fact that Mami Akosua Sewa has been an integral part of Daddy Lumba's life. Why are there no two ways about it? But mo come mane rubbish as Daddy Lumba ye kwasi ampeni bi na nya Akosua Sewa ti be no ti Akosua Sewa na tworo nyoma Daddy Lumba. And some free three more can Akosua Sewa na de man or na de be ya. Then na mo yesa. Adey. Ya betimi aboma Mami Akosua Sewa baso. Why are there? Nobody will disrespect her. But one moment yes as in the quest to some be praise Mami Akosua Sewa no. It is mo be denigrate papa no achievement. Eti sebi Mami Akosua Sewa ye mo na baso why are there she is done well. One developing Lumba, one building Lumba. Nemom Lumba na wano building ye wada ya na jude shom etworo nyom over 30 years or ye kwasi ampani. Their narrative no. Ade narrative no. Munyai sa ni man. Enya fe. What? Munyai. Me ne papa shi kasa me ka kire papa shi pen. Se nti wo nua pa na ewuo na wo ye. Enti je wo ye nti efe. Enya fe. Eye japade ho asem a obia ne obetimi atena Ghana ho se. Dad Lumba japade wo beche no o ma kosu ase wa bi. Ade enti na ese basa. Ade enti. Enti me masa ye nyina enti ya it cannot happen. Asenim guasia no amu ana Lumba na ye wanhia kosu ase okay. Wanhia kosu ase wa anko ba foforo bi beye. Teresa ye bi dwaben wo wi woko. Okoto akosu ase wa ye ne de o play ni ru wawu Lumba woko. Ayi odobro ni be so mo no so play ni ru pa obi aye bi. It is not an either or situation. And yet either here or I don't know. Mo nyanse na me hwa papa shi ya. Na me busa mo se timiti wiase. Me namfo no mbe pa na se wo china mewu a umbedi nkwase asem ya papa shi ye di agumanu ase. Me hwa mu a me hu se Kofi Kwaku, se Denis Ejejumo, se Kwaku Osu se Chiro, se Alex Kwaku Boatin. Se me hu di obedi nkwase asem se de. Me hwa mu a me hu me ntiase. Na me ya no ana na nanu mo ka kirem se na nei na wo hunu bi na reviso ne nkwase afo nso adi agoropen. When nkwase afo adi agoropen omo wo picture. Enti bia make say nei for the past 15 years. Won say nipa no kura ni agoro because wo say bia na adwene mu no enti wo mpa na godie bio. Na mo oni ni di agoro mmire bi atwa mu no won wo atwa picture. Wo kina say BBC na say nipa ne pa me na menim no. Onya kaso won anim no the picture ne kire obi abeka say I make sense go bia no abrabo boy latter part of it that person was not there. Eti me ka kire mu nkwase afo amenim adi agoro a wo me picture wo kina ye wu ade baba be kire abedidi abeye de papa shi eye no fa picture ne bra ne bagiska me pe nkwase asem se wonim se o kina wo ya wo say I'm fighting for truth be. Of what good is the truth if it does not bring peace? No krekano se emfa sumdue mamu obi a honto no a no krekano a wo se wo kan why no kore akosu ase wade odobro ni dia na Lumba de no anti akosu obi a wo ayi anti akosu mi bu no papa obi anti mi mfa nanim nyefo anya no kore Lumba wonye boni aye ni wo bitimi ne papa won suta donwa otimi edanase emire bi atwa wo bitimi ye Lumba papa wa kura bi ase 30 years later obedanase to onye boni aye ni ti anti akosu a onniema a wo ye nyina eye no kore wa ya ade ye nyina ye ta na chi odobro ni so be ye bi mo se da bi either or situation adai na papa shi wo tu wiase na wonim nyansa wonua no on de kofa mai mienu nyina bai Ema anya so de ba ko hye tokuru mu hui ti ede ba no defensia ya ba say share next week
Sememu dia waya pampinga punya ya foneme
say share next week
Sememu dia waya pampinga punya ya foneme na sememu bageti seya pecha kanse Euradi swasi sami tina pila